I am here with the WWRC, that is the Warehouse Workers Resource Center. And I've been here working in the Inland Empire for about 3 years now for Amazon. A lot of like the conversation about rate tends to be super muddied, mostly because we don't really know what exactly like the standards we're supposed to be held to for like time off tasks, which I mentioned before in the panel. That is for like a refresher, that is basically time that you're assumed to not be doing work. That is also something that is just obscured from workers, and a lot of the time a lot of workers just don't know how serious these things can be, even though it weighs a heavy toll on them. But all they do know is that they need to work, they need to keep working, and they need to like forsake any sense of safety or self-preservation if they want to keep that keep their job or not get ridden up. A lot of this stems from the fact that we get seen as mostly assets, and whenever we do try to like raise something individually, they try to placate us, they try to throw things under the rug, they'll and or they'll ignore us wholeheartedly, and sometimes that makes people feel like there is no hope for change at Amazon. Managers are able to see this data, and when they look at it, they look at these performance metrics, and now they know at a bird's eye view what performance metrics you aren't meeting, and now they know, and when you clock in, they know exactly where you are, and then they make sure to like inform you or to try to intimidate you the first chance they get. That is to say, you also can't pull away from a manager. If you do, that might be seen as insubordination. When people see these big wins that are amassed, when people see the big wins that are happening all across the labor movement, then people feel more energized, which is a part of getting change at Amazon facilities. And already there's union busting propaganda at the facilities that is trying to dissuade people from organizing, from getting the rights and pay that they deserve. So Amazon is scared. These companies are scared, and the pressure that needs to be put on them needs to increase. It needs to continue, because otherwise real change won't be happening. Coming here has kind of solidified my belief in the strength of the community, of the strength in numbers. We want to prevent situations where people are getting injured, getting these repetitive motion injuries at Amazon that tend to be obscured by leadership and by management. So that's part and parcel of the issue. Not to mention the fact that sometimes there are situations where women do get harassed at Amazon, and that does get thrown under the rug a lot, mostly because HR is a lot of the times there to protect the company and not to protect workers. So, and when you have all this data of your employees at your fingertips, the best thing you should be able to do, or at the least you could be able to do, is afford them some privacy and not bring these workers up at your beck and call all the time just to simply waste their time or to harass them. And a lot of the time, I feel like sometimes workers may be seen as numbers on a screen or as assets in an algorithm. And I really don't think that workers should be seen in that way. And that's like one of the bigger issues at Amazon that